So our today's topic is where, let and constant. So यहाँ पे हमें through this table we get a quick comparison between where, let and constant based on block scope, TDZ. We will going to talk on this. Then the creating the global properties, reassignable and redeclaration. So ये एक quick sneak peek है into that topic. So let's here it's creating a function where scoping and I have created one variable and initialize the value as equals to 1. Then I have created a if block where I have created one more variable x and initialize it with 2 and declared using var. Then I am doing console.log, that's value, and outside of this block I am again doing console.log. So here as var is a function scope and let is a block scope, and variable declared by let are only available inside the block where they define, but variable declared by var are available throughout the function in which they are declared. So here let's see what this console.log prints and what this prints. I'm running this program. Okay, let me call this function first. Okay, so here I can see that this is printing 2 and this is also printing 2. That means this is function scope as I have declared a variable x here. So this x and the one which I have declared inside if block is referencing to the same variable. Hence, when I have updated it inside, so here console.log is displaying the same updated value that I had updated in this if block. So it is function scoped. Now checking about let scoping. Let me update this let and initialize this x with 1 only, and I'm declaring it using let. Now again here let. So any guesses? Let me clear the output. So here again x is equals to 1, that is inside this function, and inside this if block I have created one x and declared it using let, and the value is 2. Let me remove this to prevent any sort of confusion. Okay, now console.log x. Now if I run the program, okay, let me do, I have to call this with the correct name. Okay, here I can see 2. Value is getting printed here, that's fine. But here the value is 1. That means this is a different variable that has a scope within this block, and this is a different variable that is having scope with this, which is in this scope. So this x and this x, they are different, right? This has limitation here only. So if I access, if I try to access this x, then here, so it would print this x instead of this one. Hence proved this let is having block scope. Now going to the other topic. So in JavaScript, a variable can be declared after it has been used. In other words, a variable can be used before it has been declared. So if I'll assign x equals to 5 and I'll run the program, so you can see there is no error. Now if I'll declare this where x, and I can print the value of this as x. Sorry, my bad. Let me print it here. Console.log x. So you can see the value is 5 and there is no error, right? Now talking about hosting in JavaScript. So variable declared with var keyword are hosted, whereas declared by let cannot be redeclared and must be declared before its use. So let variables are not hosted. So let's check this concept. If I'll do console.log and x, let's say I'm running this program, there is some error. X is not defined, right? Now let me define this where x equals to 5. You can see now as I defined it later, but I'm using it before its declaration, still it is showing undefined and there is no such error. So variable declared with var keyword are hosted, right? So we can use it before its declaration. If I'll do the same thing with let variable, let me see. Okay, so here is a reference error. Cannot access x before initialization. So let variable, I cannot access it without its declaration. So let variable are not hosted. So one final point to note is that when working with the outside of the function at the global level, I'm talking about this Windows object. So let does not create a property on global object, that is window, whereas var does. What does it mean? Let's say if I'll create a var variable 1 equals to 1 and the another variable I'm declaring with let's say let 1 equals to 2. Okay, and if I want to access the var1 using window object, so I am able to access it through this, right? Whereas if I want to access let1, that is declared using let, here it is undefined, right? So let does not create a property on the global. So we are back to this comparison table wherein the first point is block scope. As we discussed, let and constant, they are block scope and variable is function scope. So no matter how much nesting within that function is, any variable that is declared using var will be available throughout that function. But for let and constant, it will be available in that particular block wherein it is declared. Now talking about TDZ, this is temporal dead zone, is a specific period in the execution of the code where variable declared with let and constant exist but cannot be accessed or assigned any value. During this phase, accessing or using the variable will result in reference error, as we already saw in one of the examples where we are using let variable declared like this variable before its declaration, right? So we can see the reference error. Okay, it will give me the reference error. If I would have used var here, so in this case, it would be printing undefined, right? It won't give any reference error. Let me print the const. In this case as well, we will get this missing initializer in the constant declaration. Hence, in DZ, let in constant is in this zone and not the var because it will not throw the reference error. Now creates global properties. So var declared variables can be used using a Windows dot that variable name, but not let in constant. Then reassignable. Here definitely we have been seeing var and let we can reassign the value, and in case of const, let's do that. If I'll assign a value to it till this point, let me keep this after this line. So I can see it 1. But the time, I'll try to reassign a constant variable, so it will give me error assignment to a constant variable. That means I cannot assign a value I cannot reassign a value to a constant variable. Now redeclarable. Now where variables are redeclarable but not let and constant. We have also seen this in one of the examples. Okay, if I'll do where x equals to 1 and later I'll do variable x equals to 3. Let me print console.log x. So it is printing 3, not 1. If I'll print x value here, so earlier it was 1 and now it is 3, but not in the case of let. We cannot, this is basically falling in this category, redeclarable. So as we can see, the let variables, if I'll try to redeclare it will give me error. Identifier x has already been declared. So in where we can redeclare the variable and use it. There won't be any error. So I think this is the end of this topic. ठीक है, no problem, that's fine. मतलब सबको आता है ये. ठीक है. तो फिर loop can execute a block of code a number of times, right? I can initialize the value, I can put the condition, and I can increase the value or means based on this condition. Otherwise, it will break from this for loop. Okay, so this is very simple for loop. Now the add-on things which people means they don't know about it are the expression one. Expression one, first of all, is only one-time execution for this. Then this is also one-time execution, and this is like every time this block of code will be executed till this condition is true. Okay, now here the first expression can be can have many it can have many you can assign different expression to it, as in like I have put I is equals to 0 here. I can also create one more variable, let's say, means if necessary, length equals to 10, and I can put I is smaller than length. So it doesn't means it is not mandatory to just write one expression only, like I is equals to 0. You can add more as well. Okay, in the expression one. So this is this part. Then okay, so in real world example, yeah, you have to deal with objects, you have to deal with array. So the thing is like how you are going to iterate for objects for array, like so this is the person object, wherein the f name and n name, this is the properties and the age as well. Okay, so for this, you can either use person, then in the square bracket, the f name, the l name, and get the value, right? So here there are loops that helps you in doing the same thing. So here it is lx in person. What does in statement do? It loops through the property of an object. Let's say if you want to print the properties f name, n name, and the age. Okay, so it will print the property for you. Okay, so you can see f name, L name, and age. I also put like this. Now, if you want to have the corresponding value of that particular property, then you can also do like person of that X, and then you can have the property of it. So you can use this if it is an object and if the requirement is like that. Now the second is off. Now you have array given, so you can do x of car. So it will loop through the object. BMW, Volvo, and Mini. What's your name? This is an object, right? And this is an object. So like have you heard of prototype? So if you do person.prototype.prototype, so firstly person.prototype is an object. So this is we have created this is an object. Everyone knows this is an object. But if we'll go and check a function as well, okay, function.prototype. So it will give you function, and if you further dig down into it, so it is showing it is an object only. In JavaScript, everything is an object. Now, coming to the top, what we see through the code, this is an array, this is not an object, and this is an object, wherein you have key and value pair like that. This is the property, it is in value, and in the object you can add the method as well. Okay, if I'll do like this, say hi, like this is a function name, and then I'll create something like this, and so this is the method I have added here. And yeah, whatever you write inside the object is never, this is never a function. This is called method of that object. Okay, so this is object and this is an array. And you said this is an object. This is, but very like if you go deep and dig more about JavaScript, so everything in JavaScript is an object. So leave that part. That is a very deep concept that comes. And that you can read through the prototype, so you will get to know like how the statement is correct. Okay.
So I got confused with this square brackets that you have used for BMW, like this cars object, right? So it's an array basically because it.
Okay, so you create the array like this only.
Okay.
The basic syntax of array is this only. So here it is very simple. 1, 2, 3. This is an array. So similarly, this is an array of number and this is an array of string.
Got it. Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
it. Okay. Okay. So this is like I can print it on the screen. Yeah, I've already printed it. So can anybody tell me like what is difference between while and do loop? Is any rough idea, anything, whatever you think like that? कुछ तो सोचा होगा आपने.
So do while it will first check for the condition, like it will first do the thing and then it will check for the condition. But for while it will first like check for the condition. It won't first print the condition. It won't do any statement. But for do, first it will do whatever is written in the do statement, and then it will work for the while.
Yeah, that's great answer. That's correct as well. आता बहुत को होगा. ठीक है, चलो. Okay, so while loop, so it has a strict policy. By I have to check the condition first. Okay, then only I'm going to execute this certain block of code, right? So as it says, the syntax says like the same. Like this is the expression. It will firstly check this. If this condition is true, then only I have to execute this block of code. Otherwise, it will break this. right? But in do while loop, like if we'll go for coding, some instances are like that and some requirements are like that, like you have to execute that block for the first time. I don't mean, as per the requirement, you don't have to check for the first condition. For at least one time it should execute. So do while loop does the same for you. Okay, the first condition will be executed, then only then from the second time it will start checking the value using the while. Any doubt, or shall I explain it again? Okay. Okay, so for loop, while loop, and do, what is the difference? Like in the for loop, you initialize the initial value of this, the condition, and the incremental part within that parenthesis, right? But here in while and do while, firstly, the value of this expression you have to initialize outside of that, then the condition is always inside this, and the increment, it will do automatically in the this. Okay. Okay, the increment it would do like based on the condition until it is true. And just iterating for do is like it will at least execute once, and then later for the other condition it will for the later execution, sorry, it would check for the condition. You can see number 0, 1, this is for till 5. I have executed for while. Sorry, it is for 10, my bad. And yep, just to show that this 10, I'll make it 11. I should be make it 10 only. Okay. Okay. This. So I is equals to 11. Okay. So if it is greater than 11, then only it will be executed, right? I can see do while loop 11. At least for one time, it has executed this, then it checked, then it means this loop has broken. Any doubt till now?
Yeah.
Okay, coming to the next part, wherein like for each map, reduce, and filter. So have you guys ever encountered map, filter, or reducer? Like in any small codes you have like doing for practice during that time?
No, yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So we have seen the for loop, right? Wherein the initial condition, the increment values, all we had to mention over there. Now, in for each, this is first of all the array. Now, the number dot for each, now it requires a callback function. Okay, this is a callback. Callback function, if I'll simplify it, so this is nothing but a small function. I'll control C. Let me do const my. Okay, if I'll remove it. Okay, this is the simplified version. This is the callback function. If I'll number dot for each, this method I have called, and then this is a my function. This will call this. Okay, so this is the callback function, and this is same as doing this. Any confusion here? Okay, I'll take it as no. So this is the first this sum, and now the talking about whatever parameter it requires. So this item, it points to the element of that array 5, 10, 0, 15 in iteration. Now index is the position of these elements. 0, it starts from 0, right? An array has a means it all the value, just glance at that array. That array contains elements of the same type. Okay, I cannot make 5 and I cannot make here any string or any boolean value, let's say. So it should have the element of the same type. Okay. Now this index 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And this array is nothing but this array. You can change the name. There is no hard and fast rule. So coming to map. So mapping again to iterate over the array. Okay, and the parameters are same: the item, index, and the array. Okay, so it returns the new array here. So this is the return statement. You can write it like this as well. That is the shorter part. You can return it like this. Okay, and I have to just return this directly, so let me remove it. Okay, so this is the means it provides this. Let's talk about array function later on. It will come as a part of this tutorial only. Okay, so this is about the map to iterate. Now coming, this is quite simple, right? Now coming to the filter part. So yeah, one more thing. Yeah, difference between for each and map. Okay, so for each here is not returning any new array, right? It is whatever it is doing, it is just changing this array, means this numbers only. Item into 10, I am just doing it and it is updating the value. Okay, now the number will look like, okay, okay, for 10, sorry, 50, then 100 like that. It will multiply of 0 every 150. Okay, so it will directly change this number array. But what map does, or map filter and reduce, it returns a new array. It creates an output array. Okay, it won't change this the source array. It creates a target array and update that one. Okay, so this is the so that your source code, whatever source object or source array won't be changed. So that's why I use map, reduce, and filters. Okay, coming to this part. Okay, so filter, as the name says, it filters the data. Means if array is provided, so it is filtering the data. So again, it returns the new array. Okay, so whatever in the events, there is no change in the number array. So that is the advantage. And it is only adding to the output array those elements which is satisfying this condition. So let's say 10 elements are there in an array. None of them is satisfying this condition. Okay. So in that case, empty array would be sent. Okay. And if one or two, then that many new elements would be sent. So filter is of utmost use because the real world scenario, if we'll match it like that. So let's say you have a big table. Let's say table of employee information, and you have a search bar on top of it, right? And user is searching something like employee name with Neha. Okay, so filter is used so that I can have the array of whatever names are present in the table, right? I can check item that is equals to like triple equals to Neha, right? So it will give me that sort of employee only, and I can sort that table. So not sort the table, I can filter the table, my bad. Okay, so this filter is of use whenever you are doing any sort of search based on any keyword or wherever it is applicable. Okay, so filter is also used, and it is having a very simple syntax: item, index, and array. Now, coming to this part where most of the people are stuck, and like they are means I have whatever people I have met, they used to ask me this: what is reducer, how it works, and when to use it, right? And let's say you have this array. Wait, let me remove this. Okay. If I'll say I want the sum of these values. So first thing that comes to your mind is number one, using like put a loop and then 5 plus 10 plus 0 plus 15. You will do like this using a loop only. Okay. So there is a very API that is available in JavaScript is of reducer, right? Okay. So what reducer does, instead of you to write a for loop and then do the sum of this, what it does, this is a very small example I'm giving. There are very complex, let's say, computation. You can easily solve it using reduce. Okay, like you have to subtract the value, you have to add the value. Okay, so everything you can do it very easily using reduce. There are many complex like computation. You can have it using this. Okay, so this remains the same, right? Item, index, and array. What differs here is the accumulator value. You can change the name here. You can make a sum, you can make a different, you can make any name here, A, B, C, anything is fine. Okay, so this is the accumulator function. So whatever computation you want on top of this array and get a single value, reducer all definitely will give you only single value. So it will come to this accumulator, and that is returned to the sum value. So how it does, yeah, there is one more thing on top of it. Let's say I have this value 5, 10, 0, 50. So there is one more provision to add the initial value here. Okay, so how it works? Let's say I haven't provided any accumulator, means the initial value. Okay, I can here. Okay, I haven't provided any initial value here. So what it will do? It will take the first value of an array as an accumulator, the initial value itself. Then 5 plus 10, then 15 plus 0. Okay, then 15 plus 15, then the value comes 30. Let's say if I'll provide some value over here, 5. Now it will take this as the initial value. Now it will do accumulator will be 5, 5 plus 5, 10, 10 plus 10, like that. It goes on like this. So this is the use of reduce function. Okay.